Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Evening Show right here on Smash FM, here on Lockdown Sunday here in Melbourne. And of course, let's turn our attention to music in particular. Now, Friday just gone. This particular artist just released a new single online. And of course, it is called The Greenhouse. And she joins us right now. Of course, we had her on the show probably about 2-3 months ago now, and of course, now it's great to have her back on the show. This time, face to face over Zoom in person, because her name is Montana Sharp. She joins us right now. Thanks, Montana, for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
No worries. Well, I guess the news that we want to talk about, obviously, is your new single since we last had you on the show back in May. How so is it to release a new single out in the midst of this pandemic at the moment?
It has its pros and cons. Like, I'm writing all of these social media posts, like being, I'm so excited to release this song. But in reality, it's just me in my pajamas, like wearing the same hoodie, and I'm just typing like half asleep. So it's kind of like a mismatch of energy. Like it's so bizarre, but yeah, it feels a lot more chilled probably than it would if I was releasing if we weren't in lockdown. So pros and cons with that.
Now, last time we had you on the show was back in May, and obviously you did mention that you were going to release a single out later in the year, which is this right now. I guess, did you ever thought when we last had you on the show back in May that we got to this point and then you still wouldn't be able to release a single out with no performance to showcase your single?
Yeah, so when I said on this radio show that I was going to release in July, I was like, shh, well, I better do it now. Better stay true to my word. But luckily, restrictions eased for a minute there, so we quickly shot the music video in, and yeah, June was a really profitable month in terms of getting everything organized, luckily. And yeah, I think it all came together really quickly and really well, and I had an amazing team, support network behind me who helped organize everything. And yeah, even though I couldn't do a live single launch as I hoped, I'm really glad that we got the music video in, and everyone in that music video really brought it to life.
Now, with obviously what's happened in the news today, for the fact that now it seems like we're going to go in lockdown for another 6 more weeks till now mid-September. Are you thinking about doing any live performances after we get out of this technically now the third lockdown, once we get out of hopefully mid-September?
I'll believe it when I see it. It feels like that point is very, I don't believe in a world where lockdown doesn't happen anymore. It feels like this is completely the new normal. So doing a live performance or like traveling outside of my suburb just feels like a dream. It's a fantasy that I would love to realize once this is all over.
What's been happening now, and we've gone back to another 6 more weeks, is doing live performances virtually online. Is that something you're hoping to do to continue this release of this new single?
Yeah, I see a lot of my friends and a lot of fellow musicians doing a lot of live stream performances, and I think it's so important to boost morale, because when we're in these really dark times, I think everyone does look to entertainment and the arts to boost our spirits. So I did record a live version of Greenhouse in my living room, and I really did like this setup, so hopefully some live stream performances will definitely be in the near future.
And tell us a bit about Greenhouse. You mentioned before that you've had a chance to write most of your songs during this pandemic at home. Tell us a bit about the story behind Greenhouse.
The story behind Greenhouse, I guess when you're a little kid, you form habits, and I was definitely a Disney kid, and I like to escape into my imagination a lot. And, you know, I was big into fairy tales and princesses. And whenever, I guess it's a reflex of mine, whenever something's happening in my life, I always default back into that place. Um, but then once I became more of an adult and things stabilized around me, I found that it was actually my imagination that was becoming the dark, scary place. And all those kind of fairy tales started taking on a sinister turn. So I guess Greenhouse is all about how survival instincts may have started in the beginning. They were helping us, but eventually they start hurting us and they're impossible to escape. And yeah, I think it's very relevant right now when we're all kind of in survival mode with the coronavirus, and how that can make us feel. It can give us a sense of comfort, but it can also, it's hard to shake off once things do actually stabilize.
And you mentioned that you did all your music videos once we're out of lockdown, or the first lockdown that is, back in May, June, before we went back into it in July. I guess tell us, how did that all go? And you mentioned that it all panned out really well. Tell us a bit about how that all came about, and I guess did you yourself get to choose a location where you want to do it, and where was that location, if you don't mind asking that question?
Yeah, sure. I'll reveal all of my secrets. So I hired a brilliant production company. They're called Magella Productions, and they're an all-female run company, which is awesome, and that's something I really believed in. And they came up with the genius concept of having the video on a carousel to kind of mimic the cyclical nature of those protective mechanisms. How like you think it's going to be a fun ride and then you find yourself stuck in a loop. And so we knew there was a really beautiful carousel on the Geelong Pier, and it's in kind of like this glass house, and it's really, really pretty. So we shot it there, and the restrictions allowed us to have 20 people. So that's how many people we had. And we had an amazing choreographer as well. Her name is Zoe, and she choreographed a group of dancers. And so in the video, you see all of these dancers dancing on the carousel, and it was just so magical. I was like, oh my God, this is all for me. I can't believe it. I really didn't feel I could live up to the production elements that they provided for me. It was so amazing, and they really brought it to life.
Now, for everyone out there who don't understand doing music and haven't done music videos before, for you, I have to ask, how long did that whole music video take, like in real time?
It took all day. So we were there from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., I think. And that's including setup, hair and makeup, lighting, and then as well as shooting, obviously. I probably shot for about 15 minutes, half an hour, I think, out of that whole time. And I have watched a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race, you know, growing up. So my lip syncing skills were on point. So I was trying to be a one take wonder. And yeah, I was very proud of myself.
I guess for you, doing music videos, I guess, do you mind the people that's working around this, work around the clock? As you mentioned, it was a 12-hour day. And I guess especially people working behind the scenes that doesn't get recognised when everyone sees these music videos?
I think it's so important because realistically, as the artist, it's our face and image on it. But in reality, all we had to do is show up on the day and look pretty for the camera and film for 15 minutes. And it's everyone behind the scenes that are working around the clock to create this beautiful piece of art and pour their heart into it. And, you know, maybe they're just a name in the caption, but I think they deserve all the credit for it, and I would do anything to back them up.
Now, you mentioned about the dancers, and also got the call for Zoe, who did that fantastic music video. I guess when you got there, were you really surprised on how, especially the dancers, did all these amazing dance moves on the carousel with you?
Yes. I'm someone who really can't dance, so I admire anyone who has like a semblance of rhythm. I'm just like, wow. And so I did actually go to their rehearsal before the music video, just behind the scenes, and I was just sitting there filming it all, going, oh my God, they're so cool. I hope they like me. And then they had to do the dance on, it was a moving carousel, so the carousel never stopped moving, and they're having to navigate it while the horses are going up and down, and they were absolute champions. I admire them so much.
Well, I'm going to ask, you might as well give them a shout out. And if you remember which dance group they're from, you might as well give them a bit of a shout out.
I believe they study at Patrick Academy and MAPPA, so definitely check those out.
Now, for you, you mentioned, and obviously we mentioned quite a lot about the greenhouse, obviously for everyone out there, and I believe it is officially out now. With, as we mentioned, we've seen the music video. How can people go about getting your new single?
So you can go to Spotify and search Montana Sharp Greenhouse, or you can search that on Apple Music. And if you are feeling so inclined, you can buy it, and it would really help me out. Otherwise, you can go to montanasharpmusic.com and you can find all of the information there, as well as the YouTube video. So if you go to YouTube, you can search Montana Sharp Greenhouse and my music video will be there.
And of course, we'll make sure we'll be sharing that music video a bit later on today for you. Of course, obviously now releasing this new single of Greenhouse. Is there any other new singles we should be looking out for in the next, I don't know, 4 months or so?
I'm really hoping to get my EP to you guys by the end of the year. And just having released one song, it's like I've gotten bitten by the bug and I really want to release every single song ever. So I'm really looking forward to a big EP launch, hopefully when restrictions have eased and we can all celebrate together in person.
And I don't know if I asked this question the last time we had you on the show, but I'm going to ask this question anyway, which is, what have you learned from doing things at home and especially writing music during this pandemic? What have you learned from it?
A few things. I think I've learned how much easier it is to write when life is a lot more simple. And I think during these times we have so much more simplicity than we did when there was so much noise of like, work, school and everything. In some ways it's been, I won't publicize this, but some ways it's been a blessing because you get to kind of come back to yourself. And also I think I've learned how much social media has an influence on everything in this music industry and the way we think and the way we perceive things, and also how much it has an influence on connecting with people as well and getting your music out there. So that's been a big lesson as well.
Now, do you have a message to all the Victorians, and especially here in Melbourne? Obviously, we both of us are from Melbourne and live here. Do you have a message to any Victorians or Melburnians that obviously we're going through a pretty tough time down here at the moment, that, think writing music now, considering we have so much time up our sleeves, but obviously going through real tough times?
I think however you're feeling and however you want to spend this time, and whatever comes up for you is okay. You don't have to expect yourself to be 100% productive right now. It's a collective trauma. So I think my message to all Victorians is to be kind to yourself and just take everything day by day.
And what does the music scene mean to you?
The music scene to me means a community. I think it means being seen and heard for the person I am and the person I'd like to be, and I think it's a way of everyone expressing their true self.
Now, have you done any, and I mentioned this right at the start, of course, prior to the single coming out, have you done any virtual performances at all?
Prior to the single coming out, I released a live version, so it's just me playing Greenhouse in my living room on the piano. And I'm sure we really annoyed the neighbors with that one. But they didn't file any noise complaints, so that's good.
I got to ask, how did that all go, and how difficult was it to set up a virtual performance?
It was pretty simple. Shout out to my boyfriend Benji Ware. He actually filmed it. He has a professional camera, so he filmed it for me. We have some pretty cool lamps in our house, so we just use those. And my brother kind of rigged all the lighting so you can get like different colors. It feels like the living room was kind of meant for this moment, so I think we lucked out.
Oh, fantastic! And tell us, did you get any really good comments on the socials?
Yeah, everyone is being very, very supportive and very nice, and I'm already blown away by the feedback, and also the critical feedback as well from publications has been amazing. So I'm really over the moon. I'm tired now, but I am actually over the moon.
Of course, so we'll finish off with two final ones, which is, and we'll might as well just promote your music channel and, of course, your website and how people can go about getting that Greenhouse again, which is out now. How they can go about it again, and especially they can follow you on the socials.
Yep, so it's just Montana Sharp, so Montana as in Hannah Montana, Sharp as in Sharpie, on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. I should be all over there. Or you can visit my new website, which is montanasharpmusic.com.
And one final one. Now, once we get our lockdown and all that, is there one place in Melbourne that you would love to begin the recommencing of live performances?
Sydney Opera House, please. Come book me, come find me.
Nice. Well, let's hope after what, if it's not next month, the month after, hopefully we'll get to see in live performances once we all get out of this lockdown 3.0.
Yeah, we can do it, guys. I'm manifesting it. I believe in it. Thank you so much, Will. Thank you for having me.
No worries. So that's Montana Sharp there. Of course, as you mentioned, you can go and get her music right now, and it's a fantastic single. I've listened to it numerous times now on my playlist.
Thank you.
It's highly recommended. Of course, Greenhouse will put all the details on how you can go about it on our socials later on today. There's more on the Smash Evening Show right after this. Don't go away here on Lockdown Sunday.